it wasn't actually recognizing what is going on over here, and so I think that is going to be really helpful for me. I'm also going to set a limiter so that my voice just doesn't go too far above the baseline. But I also want to like I wish YouTube had this feature that they live streams, or at least for your videos, because that way things would feel a lot better. But since we are thing, I'm gonna go ahead and ensure that this just works properly for me. And I'll also increase the output gain a little. Which sort of gives me more room to play around with the audio levels. Okay, but because I want the audio to be as clear as possible, like even if I'm doing this as a practice session, I think that it is important that everyone can watch it without suffering through inaudible audio. Inaudible audio. Inaudible audio. Inaudible audio. Okay, so I'll just place it at top here. The network is good enough, but again, it's just dropping frames. Almost 35% of the frames were just dropped, and I don't know the reason for that. Like, what could be causing this issue? Right, exactly what I'm thinking. Like, what could it be that is causing such issues in the network? Like, I've been trying to troubleshoot this, but I guess I'll have to somehow connect this to the LAN so that the network and the ping itself are like not insanely bad at that point. But I hope this improves the audio level and also the overall features for this. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to uh, just making sure all of this works. Right. So I have my. I'll just. Okay, so it's still dropping frames a lot. A lot. Like around 20% of the frames dropped. How do I deal with this? Anyhow, I should, I think, focus more on getting this done. Uh, I'll just go to, and then from here I can just go over to, and from here I can then look at this section. To the Okay, so I think this one is the wrong one. I guess this is the right one that I need to focus on, and I have the FAQs here, and then the next section I'll have as well be right there. I was also creating an icons array. So I went with let icons is equal to an array, and this is going to be an array of icons. So uh, just to play around with this, I'm going to go with a home icon, uh, then the phone icon, then the cloud icon, and arrow icon. So I'll have these four, and In here, I'm just gonna map it. So the value that I'm going to get from here, I'm going to go ahead and map over it, and I'll say item, and then we'll obviously return something. And the map function also takes in an index, so we can use that for our advantage over here. And we can say item, that is whatever is in there, we want all of that, title, description, whatever is in there. And apart from that, we also want icon, and icon is going to be icons, and the value of this array. I hope that this works fine, because this is the structure that I defined over here, icon, and that should work, right? So I have icon, icons I, and finally also need an image. So this is going to be URL. URL is going to be something, and then I'm going to have alt text, which is also going to be something. And this is just for testing purposes, to make sure everything is working properly. And we just change the name of this as well. Section list with image. And does that work? Yes, it does. And if we go on to a bigger screen, like a medium sized screen, I guess we should get the image as well on the right hand side. I mean, that is all right. In my opinion, it just works fine for now. We don't have to do anything else with it, which I guess is a good thing. There's a type error. Typescript is helpful, but it just comes up with this weird errors that you need to understand. Okay, so feature is missing, right? What I have here is title, description, and what I need here is feature description. So I'll have to go with feature is going to be title itself, and then description is going to be description itself, I guess. And this will be item dot title, and description is going to be item dot description. Okay, so I think this is a problem that I'm getting with TypeScript itself. as an array of components. Why does Lucid have something with a name? Uh, mm, 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 mm. Okay, so the dollar sign. Hello, Abhishek. Uh, what's up? So the dollar sign is simply a way to. Uh, I guess you are asking about these dollar signs. They are a special syntax to let the Svelte compiler know that this is something that it has to convert to basic JavaScript. Svelte, unlike React, is compiled, and so you will find this syntactic sugar dollar sign. Sometimes uh, you will have a lot of things prepended with dollar. So, for instance, in the case of dollar library, it's just a placeholder so that I won't have to actually type out the whole path with dot dot and slashes. So that's just an easier way to work through it. Uh, these dollar signs are for in Svelte 5 they have this thing called runes. If you're familiar with them, they are like signals. If this value changes, then everything that depends on this value must also rerun. So props are the basic properties that you can pass to a component. Derived rune is something that is, let's say, you have got two different variables. One is A, the other is B. Both are simple reactive variables, and whenever you change one of them, you want to make sure that. So, let me just show it to you. I think that would be easier. So, if we go to the browser only tab, I'll just go to Svelte 5 preview, and this is just the REPL which enables us to quickly work through any of these things. And let's say we have this variable called A, and then there's this other one called B, right? And this is going to increment A, and this is, and now we want to make sure that we have a variable C which depends on the value of the multiplication of A and B. And so we can go with A multiplied by B. And whenever A or B changes, this function is going to be triggered and the value of C will be recalculated. And since we'll have that in our HTML template as well, this is also going to be re-rendered, only this part. Uh, and you can see that over here, every time we click on this, A gets incremented by 1. And whenever that happens, this value A into B is calculated again. So that is like an easier way for the Svelte compiler to know, yeah, it has to keep track of this variable. But then again, there are different uh, there are many different ways to work on this thing. Uh, there is going to be a lot of syntactic sugar in Svelte because it's it's uh, it's a compiled thing. Yeah, the compiler has to know what, uh, at least through syntax, that something is going to be special about a certain variable or a certain block of code so that it can then take that and convert it into basic JavaScript. What did I have to search? I need to get to, I need to view this package. I think they may have actually released something to help me type out this thing, because right now the type of does not uh, align with that. Okay, another thing that I may be doing wrong is that I've already created and marked this as a snippet. No, it's not a snippet. Anyhow, uh, as component array. This should work. We do not know the value of this, but I'll need something to actually know if this thing works. Here's its Svelte package. I'll go to the guide, and do they have a link to its? Okay, they simply threw me away to the, like in Svelte 4 it was component type, but in Svelte 5 they have just removed this type helper that is component type, replaced it with component. And I guess Lucid yet does not have uh, that going on for it now. Maybe I can find, maybe I can find something special about it. No. And I still don't think that it is going to work like this. I'll have to see how we can type it out better. This works, but component type has been deprecated. It works, but it has been deprecated. What are my options? This causes an issue of backward compatibility. So I'm going to go with type assertion as of now. and that should also work. Let us see if it works fine. Like it looks good or not great, but I guess good. uh okay, we have got our FAQ section. I'll just take this section and move it below because that is where I want it. uh, and after FAQs we have our call to action, a form that the user can fill out, a link for a Calendly link, which simply is for booking a meeting, and then if someone wants to inquire, they can just call using this link. Everything is good over here. Let's just move on and see what else I have to do. How is it dropping all of the frames? How is it dropping all of the frames? Feel free to chat if you want to, like, you can type something. I'm fairly new to this, like, not a lot of uh, experience with it, but yeah, I really like doing it. Gives me more control over each and every aspect of the website, the marketing. And then we have social media icons over here. So I can then move on to, okay, I've got this, and this. And do you guys think that the change, like everything is centered over here as well, and then we get to this two column view, which like looks like the odd one out here. But okay, yeah. Anyhow, anywho, now this looks much better again. Then it all works pretty fine, right? All works pretty fine, right? Mm, 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 mm. Bu- 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 bu. Okay, heading, heading. I think that it should be fine for now. If I go to any other one, that is also working. And this thing that I have in the CMS, like what it does simply is query the CMS. If the CMS does not contain that content, then it is going to dynamically generate content for that page. Uh, and it's not basically even generating content, it is just taking a template, replacing the name of the applications, and it just goes on from there, right? And I've got this sticky thing going on over here. When it is in the CMS, the good thing is that it is also going to get this schema for a better SEO. But I don't want better SEO on the service that I'm dynamically generating, because that is just an content which I don't think even users are gonna like. And I can basically move on from here, look at how to limit this to the apps that that my company supports. Basically, is something that I'm doing for my company on a weekend. Makes no sense. What a waste of time. Like, at least I should get funding, like $100 a month would be good, so that at least I can then uh, get a few services that I can plug into the website, um, get faster deployments, everything. It's just sad, the whole affair. Like, my company got a complete, oh, like 360-degree experience of what web development is like. So it's just mind-bogglingly crazy. Uh, they first decided that they want someone to code in pure PHP and take the WordPress sites that we have and reduce the plugin overload by writing the plugin functionality from scratch. But then they hired someone who does not actually know PHP or WordPress but knows React. So that guy is gone then. Next, we have another new guy who thinks that WordPress is great because it has amazing plugin ecosystem. But he has been specifically hired to not rely on that plugin ecosystem, which is crazy. And at our company we manage a lot of websites, so I think that we can really benefit from something like Vercel, Next.js, and Turbo Repo. But I mean, who cares? I've tried explaining things, but a lot of politics and everything in between just gets in the way. Anyhow, let's do this. Finish this all. We have got resources. We have got. Okay, I think service, the data migration page isn't working. Right. So if I go to S migration, that just doesn't work. So I'll have to make that work somehow. I'll also want to limit the pages that are here. So this right now, uh, I I know it seems like there's a lot going on here, but it isn't. Basically, what we are doing is taking the function provided by the CMS, getting the content. If there is no content, then just sending the name of the apps fetched from the URL, right? If the content is there, it displays the content. uh, I have it over here, and if it isn't there, then it just. And if the apps aren't there, like, I have set it up in a way that the accounting software list that I have, if they aren't there, then it's just not going to work. It'll throw an error, redirect the user to 404 page. From there, I think I'll be able to redirect them to some other page, which is like nice. So many apps, and then all of the dynamic slugs that are generated, I've stored them over here so that I just quickly am able to then work through them. But I'll go to accounting applications again. Yeah, again, I'm going to go there again. And I want to make sure. Uh, 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 do I rely on this or do I make a new list? Like I can have two separate lists of software that are supported and software that aren't supported. Or or I can have a single list or or I can use a JavaScript set. I just remembered that a set is just a special array that contains unique items. Cannot have duplicate items in it. Works fine in my case, right? So maybe I've got multiple applications and uh, I think it's time to work with sets. But the great thing is I've never worked with sets. So we are going to Google it, right? We are just going to go to Google it, Google or Bing it. Which one would be better? JavaScript set. Mm, 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 mm. I'm a geek. Let's see what other geeks have for us here. Okay, so sets in JavaScript are collection of unique values. No duplicates allowed. Okay, so a new set I can just pass in. Okay, so I can create a set directly from this. Right. I have the ability to create a set directly from. And I'll go with. Okay, I'll just experiment with this right now. How do sets work? What the hell? Okay, I'm going to create an array. I'm going to create a string set and it is going to be new set, and I have to pass in a iterable object so it can also be a string because strings are also iterable. I'm going to go with food, the example only, right? And let's just see what it is, and it just has all of the unique items. So set is great for that. Got We can add things to the set, delete, clear, has values, keys, and for each. Okay. So maybe these are some very specific features that are optimized to deal with lists with unique items, whereas arrays would not be. optimized for these cases. Okay, we are going to, and it works. And now it has 4 items. But what if I try to add something that already exists? Okay, it isn't added, but it does not also result in an error. Uh, I guess the value is just ignored in that case. And every time it is returning the entire set to me. So yeah, that is great. That means chain everything together. And if I go with delete, can I delete something directly? Okay, so if I call the delete method, I get a boolean that something existed and it was deleted. Okay, so I'm working on this thing set string array dot entries. Let's just see what we get over here. Okay, it's just mapping the value to the value. What the hell? And it is returning that iterator, so maybe I can store that iterator. So the key and the value are the same. How would that be useful? And we also have some methods on it. Next. Okay, and is this stored in memory? Like, how does it know the last call? That means it is stored in memory. That means that this method, if I call it, I'll have to somehow clear it as well. Otherwise, I'll have performance issues. If you know about this, just leave something in the chat. Like, because I'm new to sets, I have no idea how they work and if they cause performance issues. Okay, so they have shown the implementation of this as well. If the size of the subset is more than the size of the set, then of course it's not a subset. Otherwise, it is going to then iterate over this and ensure that the set, like they are handling the first error case, if any of the items results and false they are going to return false, else it is going to be true, which okay. So I think this is the set from math itself. Like you had intersection, union, and to get the union, you'd just add A and B and subtract the intersection from it. Like, those diagrams, I guess if you remember, uh, we can go to Excalidraw and look at it. Uh, did I not get the spelling right? Excalidraw. Okay. So we generally used to have this thing like we'd just go ahead and calculate something like this. So if there's a set A, like if this is A, this is B, then this right here would be A intersection B. I think it was typed as A. Okay, how would I type it? I don't know. How do I reverse? How do I reverse U itself? And then this whole thing, this was A union B. And then this whole thing, you can make the background transparent. This was the universal set. But this portion was uh, like not A union B, something like this. I remember some of it, but not a lot. And I think those are the methods that we have over here. We have the union, which gives us all the values that appear once in each of these sets. The intersection gives us all of the common elements. The difference would then be like the difference of these two would be whatever isn't in the intersection, right? So if we have got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so we won't have 40 and 50 in the final set. But that's not how it is working. Okay, so it is going to give us all that is present in set A but not in set B. So basically we'll get this part over here, right? We'll get this part over here. And like visualizing this is going to be helpful. Okay, I think this should go straight to Notion because I will be using this. Maybe in the future, I just like to document anything that I think is going to be useful later on because because it's just like if I don't document it, I'll and I come across the same problem, it is just going to be an issue later on. But yeah, this thing I'm going to just copy into Notion, review it sometime later. And since I'm already doing something like this, I'll just create a new code pen. I'll go ahead and I'll just open the dev tools and then I'll iterate over this, right? We can do one better. Yep, yep, yuppity, yup, yuppity, yup, yuppity, yup. That about does it. Now I have status for each of these apps. And maybe all those that are supported, I guess I'll just. How about I go with a key and value pair? Hmm. But separate lists are going to be faster, right? Hmm. Let's try out our app now. And if we go to it works. But if we go to it shouldn't work. Okay. And we'll be redirecting the user back to the home page, I guess. And that works pretty fine for me. I haven't actually set up the redirection yet, maybe. Most probably that is why. Uh, and it is redirecting me to a page that does not exist. So I'll just. Let's see if we are redirected to the home page. Yes, we are. So Svelte provides this utility function uh, go to, which takes you to the defined destination. And in this case, what I'm saying is if we end up on this page, we want to display the screen for around 5 seconds. And each of these seconds, the countdown is going to go down. So after 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is going to redirect to the base URL, which is the home page, which is pretty nice of uh, Svelte, like cool. Uh, we can also look at using these as sets. So if I were to just go with new set and create a set out of this, and if I do the same with this, uh, app set, and also I'm going to go with then I can use the set specific methods, which may be more optimized and will ensure that a particular app name does not appear multiple times, which I do not want in this case, right? So I've got includes, and instead of this, I'm going to go with app set dot has, and I'm going to import this and supported app set dot has, and let's just see if this works. Yes, it does. It does work. Nice. I should also search the correct spelling of the software that I'm using. Damn, it does not have an E. And that means I'll need to apply a redirection. Huge mistake. Huge. 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 Huge, Jackman. Huge mistake. And we are done. Now, now, now that we have that done, we can actually create an entries function. And an entries function is simply to tell SvelteKit that uh, these dynamic routes will result in these particular URLs and that you can pre-render them. So if they are pre-rendered, a lot of the JavaScript will run at the build time, and so the overall web page would be lighter, which is good for performance for SEO as well. Anywho. Uh, uh, and if we look at the entries function itself, we have to return an object that specifies the name of the parameters. So if we had a simple thing going on over here, we would just return slug or UID. But we don't have a simple case here. What we have is two things that we are getting from the params. We have the from app and we have the to app. Where do we get this from? From our sets, right? We get this from our sets. Or maybe I don't want it pre-rendered. How about that? How about that? Just don't pre-render it. Why waste all of this resource that I can just save? But even then, I'd like to understand how I can pre-render this for future purposes. So basically, if I have to pre-render this, I'll have to create so I'll have to have from app to from to, and then there's going to be another from to. So we know that it is going to be something like an array of objects, right? So we want an array. I'm just going to go with a generic name right now. And what I can do is I'll define this as uh, um, what actually did I save over here? So we have this for each method. We have a union method, intersection method, difference method, and the subset method as well. But for each, of course, does not. Hmm. So the for each method, I'm guessing, does not actually return anything, which is kind of a problem. So I'm guessing in this case, I cannot even use these things. Okay, we are going to define an empty array and for app and okay, I forgot the entries function runs only when uh, we are rendering the app. That is why I'm not getting this list. Uh, though I can just test it out over here. So I've of course created this. Mm, let r equals empty array. We are going to and we get our array back. Okay, so one of the cases would be where QuickBooks Online. So to so both the software cannot be the same. In that case, we can just skip it. So we can add an if condition, right? So we can say from app is not equal to app. If this is true, run this. If this is false, don't run this. And that should solve our problem. Now we have less number of items, and we can see that two apps that have the same name do not actually uh, sort of puck with each other, puck, puck with each other, as in a hockey puck, not the bad word that you may be thinking of. It's just a hockey puck. Let's just say it's a hockey puck. But if the YouTube algorithm decides it's a bad word, like what can you do? The algorithm has spoken. But of course, another thing is that I wouldn't want this to run every time I'm pre rendering the app. And I don't even want to pre render the app if it isn't present in the CMS. Otherwise, I'm just creating unnecessary caching, which is going to increase the amount of usage on Vercel. And as you may know, Vercel is insanely expensive. Not that I'm paying for it, but I'll have to. I just found out that the free plan of Vercel is only for hobby projects and personal projects. It's not for commercial projects. So I have dropped them a support email asking if my use case would qualify as not commercial. I hope it doesn't, because I would then have to pay for the Vercel hosting from my pocket, though this project I'm doing is for my company. Strange, stranger things. Stranger things have happened. Okay. I'm gonna take some rest. I'm gonna take some rest. I've got $20 in my pocket. I think I'll just get done with this for now. A lot of work, but I'm going to leave this as a to do. I can move it here, and I can say that there we go. We leave the decision for later. That is how pros do it. Though I don't know if I can create a sort of poll I guess. Okay, we are going to do a poll. This is going to be the first poll. And we are going to start the poll. You can now select the option. Hmm. Zero votes till now. Is anyone even watching? Are you guys bots? I can see that there are 7 people watching right now. The chat rate is of 1. I'm getting a YouTube error now. What has happened? Okay, it has 7 views doesn't mean 7 people are watching. Concurrent viewers means currently 7 people may be watching. Uh, that means there's no one watching. Sad. Sad that the poll is on. But nonetheless, I'm going to just ship it off to GitHub.
Match found.
Nothing stays hidden from me. Nothing.